Hello, this is Anthony. Let's walk and talk. So today we're going to get right to it. We're going to talk about boundaries. We're going to talk about why boundaries are so absolutely important, not only in your life, but in your relationships, in all of them. I think, as I've traversed this path, this journey, I've learned a lot of things about self, especially from the prior version to where I stand now. And one of those things that has been a difficult lesson is boundaries. We've talked in the past about being a people pleaser and being able to, say no, being able to trust in self, love self, and be there for self, to honor you and to love you first, and then to allow those to be in your life who are meant to be in your life. But what we haven't talked about is when you select somebody to be in your life, setting boundaries. You see, here's what boundaries do that I never understood in the past, but I clearly understand now. What boundaries do is they actually allow you to teach other people around you who care about you and who want to be in your life. They teach them how to treat you. They teach them how to better love you. They teach them how to honor and care for you. And I never saw it like that before. To me, in the past, I always thought boundaries were really more of an aspect of keeping people out and holding people back. But I never understood the full aspect of them, because in the past I had fears of losing people from my life and and being alone, spending time in solitude. And one thing that this journey has taught me is it's taught me to love self. It's taught me what amazing company I am for myself. It's taught me that all of the little things that inside that I think I viewed in life with other people as, well, maybe that's too much. Maybe I can't show that aspect of me. It's taught me that, no, those aspects of me are valuable and they're important and they're actually kind of amazing. Sometimes I have moments where, I do things and I'm silly with self, where the former version of me would potentially get upset with myself. This version of me laughs. I think it's funny. For me, I sometimes I'll act in manners that to me are just silly and goofy, and I think they're just amazing. And you see, when those aspects of you are hidden from other people, what ends up happening is you end up really not being your full authentic self. And what happens when you set boundaries is people show you when they respect and honor your boundaries, how much they respect and honor you. And it creates almost let's call it an aspect of safety that allows you to really show, embody, and be your full authentic self without any fears. And I think these things are important. I think one of the other big aspects of self that I don't think I understood in the past with boundaries was, that it's allowing people who are going to choose you to help them to understand how to best care for and love you. Listen to that again. It allows people who choose you to be able to best understand how to care and love you. Now, why is that important? Well, think about it from this perspective. When you meet somebody and you really care about them, what would you rather do? Would you rather know the aspects of them and the things about them that make them feel good and happy and cared for and loved? Or would you rather just go through the relationship and have to guess and wonder? Or just, maybe act in the ways that you feel comfortable, that maybe not knowing or unknowingly you're potentially causing some sort of hurt or pain to your friend or your loved one unintentionally. You see, and what ends up happening is that cuts out communication, that cuts out conflict. Why do we not set boundaries? Well, I could tell you from my own personal experience in the past. The reason that I didn't set boundaries was because I was afraid. I thought, hey, if I set this boundary, this might cause people to not want to, be in my life. This may sever relationships. Especially, this is almost most difficult when you're talking about a romantic relationship. Because sometimes, people have the illusion that it's difficult to meet other people. It's difficult to find find connection. And when you find something and that connection seems really special and rare, and I've been fortunate to have some of those relationships in my life, you don't want to lose those relationships. But, afterwards, when you reflect upon them, you understand that if you would have set a boundary, you would have either A, seen that your view or your projection of how special that relationship was to you was not necessarily special or to the other person. If you would have seen that, then maybe it would have given you a more realistic view of the relationship from the beginning, and either it would have showed you that this relationship wasn't for you and would have given you more strength to walk away from it earlier, to not continue to get yourself entangled deeply in it, or would have allowed you to maybe course correct the relationship, because it would have potentially shown the other person, hey, these are things that are valuable to me, and if you can't respect those things, then you're showing me that really deep down you don't respect me. And any relationship that you're going to be in where there is no respect is a relationship that isn't one that should be for anyone. And that's any relationship. That also includes parental relationships and friend relationships, but most especially romantic relationships. So boundaries, very important because they also help you, again, figure out who's choosing you, who's going to choose you. You see, why would you want to be with somebody that didn't choose you? Most people, when they get to the end of a relationship, or there starts to become a fracture in the relationship, and they're willing to stay and put in the work, but it's clear the other person isn't. This is what ends up causing a lot of anger and frustration when the relationship ends. And there's a lot of finger pointing and blame, instead of really looking at it from the aspect of gratitude. Meaning, hey, I set this boundary, and this person didn't want to meet my boundaries, and instead of saying, thank you, because you showed me that that you weren't my person, because you couldn't respect me and show care and love for me in the manner in which I desire and deserve, instead of saying thank you for showing me early so I could find the person and didn't waste a lot of years, you get angry because that person didn't choose you. But the boundary wasn't going to cause that person to not choose you. It was going to help identify early on why, whether that person was capable of choosing you. And again, this isn't a condemnation of other people, because it goes both directions. You see, someone might set a boundary with you, and that boundary may be one that just doesn't resonate with you, because boundaries, remember, can be anything. We always assume boundaries just mean being loyal in a relationship or whatnot, but boundaries can mean anything. And maybe that person has a boundary based on kind of experiences that they've had that completely are contrary to your desire or belief system in a relationship. And the issue is when we sit down and we try to negotiate boundaries, or we try to compromise on boundaries, I mean, that's okay as long as we're not starting from, if we're starting from point A and point C to come to meet at B, and it's a mutual agreement, wonderful. But if you're having to completely put aside a boundary for someone, you have to also look in the mirror and go, am I actually loving myself? Because normally when you set a boundary, that means something. That means that you've taken the journey and you understand what you need and desire in a connection in order for that connection to be fulfilling for you and feel safe for you, in order for you to be the best version of self. But what say you? Do you think boundaries are a good thing? Are they easy for you? Are they difficult for you? As always, if you enjoy this content, please like, share, and subscribe. I am truly grateful. And until I talk to you again, peace, love, light. Hope you have the most amazing day.